The red side team no longer needs to ban them. They were gone in game 1. Nongshim are on red side and presumably will be on red side for the rest of the series if they win this game. Otherwise, there won't be a rest of the series. So now they don't have to ban Kalista and Skarner. This was the long gambit. They knew they would go down 2-0 in reverse sweep. They planned it ahead, right? Every misplay they made in game 1 and 2 wasn't. You don't get it, Brendan. It was intentional to get to this point.
I see.
This is what Fearless Drafters has brought out in these teams, you know? It's about the long game. It's about the series, not the games.
It's a whole new level of strategy. We're going deeper into the Fearless strategy as we come along. There's still some stuff that really needs looks, you know, in terms of bans here. You know, the Vi's another one. Zyr's been looked at many times. Xin Zhao got banned on blue side by Nongshim in the last game. I don't know if you necessarily have to ban that one, but...
Yeah, Nongshim banned Mel for 2 games, then didn't ban Mel, and it didn't get played. Do they ban Mel again? Do they not ban Mel? Who knows? Probably a Vi ban here.
Against Lucid, I'd say
pretty safe
100%.
Bet. If you don't ban Vi, he is first picking Vi. He was slamming that immediately. 100%. No doubt.
Maybe even 110%.
Yeah. And you don't really have a Xayah or a... Xayah or Ezreal to kind of pick to have a bit more safety. So, yep. Vi banned. Gnar first pick. Shiru. They're like, sorry we messed you about. You can have Gnar. Unless they might flex it to support. They could flex the Gnar support and then, you know, give Shiru another pick. They are known to do that with top lane picks.
Yeah.
Probably not, though. Probably not. Do you remember that interview years ago? I think when Mata said, oh, what's the pick do you think might be sleeper for support? And he said Gnar.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did he say that?
He did. This was in like season 4 or 5. I don't think they're going to do that. I really hope they don't. Anyway, Silas Lee Sin comes out from Nongshim, so Fisher and Gideon want to pop off. Varus, feels weird to see Varus this late in a Fearless series. But Eamon will pick that up. Undoubtedly going to be the poke Varus. Doesn't have a satchel to throw and to waste defensively.
Yes, that's helping him rather than hurting him.
Yes, I didn't mention that enough, so I just thought I needed to bring it up.
Yeah, thank you. The Silas into Gnar I really like.
I do as well. It's
immediate lock-in.
You know what's the funny thing? So Gnar's ult has an AP ratio, right? And a while ago they buffed the AP ratio. And I remember this patch, and I'm like, that is never Gnar. The only way that affects Gnar is if he gets like Baron or something. Yeah. But every Silas player was looking at that and licking their lips. And it's just like, it was already a good ult to steal because you're not gated by the fact you have to be a mega. But now it's just even better. And it turns out it's going to be top lane Silas. So not just, I mean, I was thinking like mid lane Silas, you still have the great ult
support
option.
Silas.
You know, wouldn't put it past them. The fact of the matter is, there's a Silas. It's probably not going mid or jungle, we can say that for sure. It's probably going top, it could go support. That's what we know. Is Zay going to come in as well? I guess just a bit of comfort before more mid laners are banned out. I feel like the composition of D+ isn't necessarily like a we want to dive you composition. So yeah. I remember they banned it in game 2 because it would have been really effective with D+'s composition because they were playing like a defensive kite back, but yeah, I mean, it's a Zaya. It's a fine pick. Banning away the Talia and D+. This can especially happen later in a best of 5. If we look at the support so far, Poppy, Nautilus, Rakan, Alistair, Camille, Shen, Leona picked, Rel banned. Really running out of those engaged supports that you can play. You gotta remember Maokai was also picked, so don't even have that as an option.
Beryl is popping off right now, by the way. He's got a lot to say. Probably talking about this final ban. Blitzcrank also available. There's the Braum. So if Lens wanted to go for comfort, could be a way. I don't know about Blitzcrank and a Leona, but you know, Mini Gnar, Varus.
In terms of like the melee engages, it kind of is just Blitz. Taric more of a defensive pick. You could pick it, you know.
Sure.
So we'll lock it in. This did get played in the LPL recently. I think it was game 5 of BLG against TT. On picked it, and I'm pretty sure they lost that game by like they were like 10k goal behind at 13 minutes.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a pick. One of the problems is, though, Taric into Poke, Varus, and a LeBlanc.
Yeah.
One of the things with Taric is you want people to dive into you and to stay in the fight, right? You want the fight to extend so your ult gets value. If LeBlanc jumps in, one-shots your AD carry and jumps out again, Taric has literally 0 value. If Varus just fires an arrow at your AD carry and doesn't engage, again, Taric has low value, so doesn't feel like the ideal pick in this scenario. LeBlanc Viego going to come out, and we get the Aphelios for Giru. This is another pick where, again, if D+ had a composition where, like, they were all diving into you,
yeah,
this would make a lot of sense. Like Nongshim's comp in Game 2, or even Nongshim's comp in Game 3, the comp they have now would counter those very well.
Yeah.
I just think the problem with D+'s comp is it's very non-committal. There's a lot of poke. How are you supposed to force D+ to fight you? Because your engage is kind of limited to like streamer shuffles or Lee Sin insect kicks. I guess like Silas diving in.
It's Silas with the Better-Nar ultimate, and
the thing is, like,
sure, but
you can kill Beryl, but he kind of thrives on that. But like everyone else has mobility. I don't know. I don't think that Nongshim's comp is inherently bad, but I think it doesn't do well into what D+ has.
Wake up! She already bought tickets to first stand.
Wow.
That's what that says.
Dedication.
There you go. Expecting DK to make it. And you know what? At this point, they are the favorites.
I gotta be honest, a D+ fan who already bought tickets to first stand, like, you know, that's cool. Good that you support them. A Nongshim fan who bought tickets to first stand, that I can respect.
That's real.
That's real. Real hustle.
Well, this looks like a pretty good comp on the side of DK. On the side of Nongshim, could have been a good comp against a different type of comp. We'll see if they can make it work. If their lanes work out, maybe they can. Let's jump out of the rift for game number 4. Game number 4.
Yeah, if I had to use an analogy for how the draft kind of panned out, there's this game, you might have heard of it, it's called Rock, Paper, Scissors. And I feel like Nongshim were like, you know what? I love Rock. Rock's so good. It beats Scissors. It's so effective. And then D+...
Are you making a Simpsons reference again?
D+ started drafting Paper, and Nongshim were like, well, you know, good old Rock always wins.
Always wins.
And it's perfect because they have the Paper Man himself in Viego.
They do.
To be fair, I don't think it's that bad. Like, this comp is definitely playable for Nongshim. I just think that, like, it's not... the bot lane, I just don't think does ideally into what D+ has picked.
Yeah, I mean, following up with the final pick of Aphelios, like, yeah, it can work with Taric in many scenarios when there's people diving into you. Like, we've been over this, but... yeah, here I think you're going to need a bit more to make it actually work. Gio might have to play very safe, especially if Showmaker gets fed. Electrocute buffed, right? Just playing LeBlanc is Showmaker, so he's going to get a lot of value out of that. And you know, he was hovering stuff like the Mel. The Mel is like okay, and then you saw Victor, and I'm like, oh no. Not like this, but the LeBlanc makes a lot of sense. Just waiting for the Showmaker LeBlanc.
Yep.
This is a great spot to pull it out in.
Gonna be hard to deal with, especially if he gets the ball rolling. And as you said, the Electrocute is just so obnoxious with the buffs that came through on this patch. G1's gonna have pressure level 1. Taric actually very strong level 1 into melee champions. You can just kind of spam your abilities. Like if you have the heal, you can just like heal, auto, heal, auto forever. And just beat every other support up, every melee support.
Yeah.
Even Leona who, like, if you get in a melee range, like, Leona's level 1 is not, like, exceptionally strong, she doesn't have a combo. But if you're a melee champion, her Q is such a short cooldown, it's normally not fun, but Taric is that guy.
The flash on in, Fisher, he can't get away! It's just a solo kill, Showmaker! He's putting on a show for us on his LeBlanc.
You know, sometimes I feel like when changes happen to runes, like it takes a little bit of time for players to adjust, to like calculate how much damage.
Always.
Nope, not for Showmaker. He knows. He's already very aware of how much damage he has. Exactly enough. Finds that beautiful solo kill onto Fisher. It's not a good start for Nongshim fans.
Okay, maybe a good start in the top lane. The chains are connected.
If that had hit, could have just... Gideon's here. Oh,
this queued the wrong way. No, he's...
Lucid's there, yeah, he's Lucid. He's like,
wrong direction, Gideon.
Do I want to flip the game at level...
Absolutely.
3? And Gideon decides no.
I don't see why not. Flipping games is very fun. It's kind of like flipping tables.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Lens is going to get the Eclipse out of barrel. And we got Lucid here.
You know what's funny? Is he built Eclipse last game on...
He did, yeah.
I feel like maybe Leona should send a DMCA to Boris for stealing the name of her ability for the IM.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Leona was unfortunately there after Boris, so...
Yeah, but the IP, like the Eclipse, like the item, the Eclipse came a lot later, you know? It's not about which entity came first, come on. This is basic trade, basic copyright law. Keep it up, Brendan.
Sorry. I know I'm sounding like Chronicler a lot today, but...
Toss.
Got him.
Man, so much damage from the electrocute as well.
This is my LeBlanc, is what he said. I mean...
That is true.
He was waiting, like he was hovering it a couple of times this whole series, and I'm like, oh, this is a pretty good spot. But then this spot hits, and I'm like, oh, this is the spot. Like he was just waiting. He was just waiting for that perfect spot.
And the thing is, he hasn't killed Fisher again, but he might as well have when you look at the gold lead, because he's just been forcing him out of lane, zoning him off farm, and he now... You know, I feel like if a LeBlanc doesn't get ahead in lane, it's not the end of the world, right? You can still make a lot of impact if you're just not behind on LeBlanc. If you're farmed, you can find a fight to clean up and stuff. But if a LeBlanc is ahead, it's just over, you know? It is so hard to play against, so obnoxious. So I think Nongshim need to find a solution to this issue quickly, because right now... Oh, that's the solution. They're just going to swap their bot lane mid. You know what? It's not a bad solution. Lahens will lane against Showmaker. And I guess Jiu is there too.
Jiu is there. You know, I think there are a lot of ways where Showmaker can just go in and chunk Jiu, though. And there's, like, not much that Lahens can do outside of healing, right?
Yeah.
So this is what we talked about. It's like a small example of what you might see in the future. Unless Showmaker wants to just, you know, go ahead and face check the brush. He's still a Blanc, but he does get chunked out a bit.
Even that, with them landing the stun and landing the root, Showmaker just loses like 40% of his health and dashes away.
He's got refillable. Just ran out, actually. TP's coming in, so he's going to land the chains here. I don't know about this TP as Meganar finally hits, but not very well timed from Shiwu. And now, Lucid, though, meanwhile, he's like, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. I'm just going to come in here and steal and grub.
Why did he TP in there? I'm wondering. I mean, I know why he wanted to be top, but why did he TP there specifically is what I'm wondering. I mean, clearly they want grubs.
Asserting dominance.
Yes. He wanted to, he like, watch these guys think they can kill me. Perfect Meganar timing, baited them.
And Fisher is just catching up in gold as this happens.
Yeah, so... Given a window for Fisher to get back in the game a little bit, which is obviously good for Nongshim. Yeah, it's a very strange passage of play. I kind of, they're not going to replay it because he didn't die, but I kind of want to see it again, just because I'm like, what addition? I need additional. I need to watch it back and be like, why? What was going through his mind?
He was about to hit Meganar. That was pretty much it.
Simple. It could just be that simple.
And he TPs in. He's like, oh, I'm not Meganar, and now I'm almost dead. And then he hits Meganar.
That is a description of what happened, thank you.
I mean, you wanted to know what happened, so I just...
No, but I wanted to see with my eyes. No.
Not important.
Should have seen it the first time.
I was watching. That's why I was able to explain it to you.
I mean, I was watching, but I was also talking, you know? It's different.
Imagine talking on a broadcast. Why would you ever do that?
Yeah, really.
Yeah. So, this lane up here, I mean, it's not that fun for Shiwu. It's just... kind of getting bullied a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the matchup go in different directions. I've seen the Gnar have pressure, but early on, it's just like, if the Silas is good, it's the constant threat of being able to dash in on you. It's kind of a similar thought process to like a Reliant to Gnar, which we saw Doran play and do horrifically on the other day. But it's the same sort of thought process that you can like threaten those all-ins, but the second you make a mistake...
All right. Okay, well, the hijack was 2 seconds away.
As I was saying, the second you make a mistake, you can either be punished by Mega Gnar, case in point, or just Mini Gnar can kind of run you down, especially as he gets late in the game and gets a bit more damage. Like, it's not it won't be as fun later on for King in the side lane, but for now, doing pretty good. But yeah, things have not been progressing too quickly, and that lead from Showmaker about the same. But if you're maintaining a lead and the game is getting later, it's not as relevant.
Yeah. Well, if there's one player who I trust to make waves on LeBlanc, it's Showmaker.
Yeah.
This guy, in recent years especially, like, there's definitely other players, other mid laners in the LCK that are fantastic at this pick as well, but Showmaker in recent years is the guy for me.
Especially in a game like this, because not only do they not have great tools to like immediately deal with the LeBlanc and catch him out, but also the tankiest person on Nongshim is probably going to be either Fisher or Lehens.
Yeah.
Like, it is all
Fisher.
squishies. It is all squishies across the board. So Showmaker, sometimes you have these games where it's like difficult to get onto the one target you really want to hit. I don't really think Showmaker needs to be picky. He can just hit anyone, and he'll probably do a ton of damage.
Yeah, and there's not really a lot of recourse, which is the main thing we talked about during draft. It's not like, oh, Showmaker's going to go in and you're going to like chunk him out in a big way, or you're going to root him and really have a lot of threats. It's like, no, he kind of just does whatever he wants, and you just kind of have to sit there and take it. Like, yeah, maybe a Gravitum hit, and then he roots him miles away. As long as Showmaker is playing well, you're never really in danger on this LeBlanc of getting caught. So he has a lead. No dragons have been taken yet. It was just DK who got the grubs.
It's a Hex Tech Dragon, so no more Hex Gates this time.
So Barrel's not going to have his same death count, is what you're talking about.
It's impossible for them to match that.
Yeah.
You know, the Hex Gates were a key component. It's just bad RNG.
Yeah, 10 is a pretty large number, so I'd say, you know, pretty difficult in general. And CU, just gonna take a nice little ride. Gideon not able to get behind him there.
Yeah, I mean, the minion wave was thinning out. Barrel was moving over, and I think they had vision of him. You could have, like, R-flashed as Gideon and, like, kicked him back, like, and got his dash out of him, but it would be a heavy commit that might backfire, so don't end up doing more, but now D+ just,
Yeah, engaging here straight onto the Taric, and now he's going to drop his ult, but it's a little bit too little too late. As Lucid goes in, and now he's Taric himself, brings a jungler with him. Meanwhile, Shu's just doing the grubs for some reason.
because he wants the grubs.
I mean, he got one.
Yeah, there you go. A lot committed to get that pick on the Lehens. King and Town got a TP in, and I think with Mega Gnar gone, with all those tools expended, D+ don't feel the need to stay around. Nongshim will be able to get 2 grubs as a result, but you know they won't get the full contribution to the Feat of Strength. And I think D+ are happy with the gold. Although it did go to Barrel.
What do you mean?
Which,
Best target.
depending who you are, yeah, you know. I feel like this team's very competitive because you have Aiming, who's the gold king, Showmaker and Lucid both be picking up a lot of kills, and then you have Barrel, who just sometimes he just wants the kills. I mean, he kind of got it passively there with the Ignite, you know.
Yeah.
But not much they can do. Again, to keep them in the fight, that's the problem. You know, they get a kill, they get out, they disengage, and you just don't have something to lock them into staying in range of you.
Yeah. I really like how Lucid in that fight, he turned into Taric. He's like, oh, I'm Taric. I'm ulting away now. I don't do anything.
My favorite is like,
I think he healed himself.
you see a difference between like Viego players. Back when he was like really meta and played all the time, the Viego players you could clearly play, like maybe they play a ton of ARAMs, they can play every champion or whatever, and no matter what champion they get, they seem kind of comfortable. And then my favorite was when like they'd get like an Ezreal, and they'd just fire all his abilities, miss all of them, E, and then ult.
Yeah.
Like W miss, Q miss, oh man, just E, oh, I'm gone, I'm done. And it would be like a fed Ezreal as well. It would be like, you could do so much staying as the Ezreal for a bit. Nope.
Nope.
I don't know how to play this champ. I'm out. Later.
Yeah. He had the burst damage from the ult too. You know, it's an angle. DK got an angle on a just very free Drake. Hextech Drake, Ocean next. Maybe we get the buffed Chemtech. Very much looking forward to that.
Wow, can't wait.
We did get that the other day. It was on the Rift. I don't know if it was secured. I kind of
How
For
could
some
you not
weird reason, the team's
Brendan,
kinda...
it's been buffed by 2%. How could you not notice if it'd been secured?
Yeah.
That's 2%
but it's
less damage
times 2.
more damage done when they're below 50% HP.
Because it affects 2 different multipliers. Right?
Yeah, so I guess it's 4% if you think about it that way.
It is, yeah.
Aiming just Q backwards. It was a zoning Q in case there was like a Nico sneaking up behind him. There could have been a teemo there.
Yeah.
He needed to know.
All right, well, in terms of checking, we're doing it again. The face check comes in, and Tarek's dead again. Lahen's just bullied, because if you're face checking and you're Tarek, you have lock, but you're not that tanky, right? So you go in and you just get CC'd 100 to 0. You never get a chance to even use your ult.
I think I would have rather seen the Blitzcrank, honestly. And that's saying something, because I don't think it's even... It's okay. It's okay. You can grab the Varus, right?
Yeah. It's not even that kind of a Blitzcrank angle. It's like an okay one, and yeah, I think it would have been better.
But Lahen's has definitely picked Blitzcrank in worse situations.
Yeah. It's better than going 0-2 on Tarek.
I think maybe the reason he didn't go Blitzcrank is because the team doesn't really have any setup.
Yeah.
They really could have gone for some setup.
He could have picked something that gave his team setup, you know?
Yeah, maybe. I think the problem was leaving support till after the second round of bans. And this is fearless, right? You get later into the draft, some roles start to get pinched.
Yeah.
You're not like fully cognizant of which they are. We saw D+ secure the Leona and then go and target support, so now Lahen's is on the receiving end of it. He definitely got to play the game there.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I feel like ult wouldn't really have helped him, and he would have just been his ult, which is a really long cooldown. So I'm not saying he should have ult, but he just didn't have a time to, really, in that situation. Just stunned the whole time before he died.
Oh, Shu. There you go. He's got the better Gnar to go down, and that is a huge amount of execute damage coming out from Gideon there. They're not going to be able to land the stun here to the Viego. But they're certainly bullying Siu quite a bit, or at least trying to. They finally get the kill on him here.
Yeah, I mean, it was a nice setup from King in there, and Gideon there to follow up, but unfortunately not going to find more. Although, to be fair, even if the stun had landed from Lahen's, Lucid has ult, so you'd have just been that, you wouldn't have killed him. They are posturing for a dive. This seems bold.
Yeah, it's almost like they wanted to siege the turret, but then Beryl just kind of ran at them, and they're like, oh, well, we can't do this.
I don't think he dive at Leona, is all I'm going to say.
No. Aiming. Oh, there's the slow. Uh-oh. Jihu, rather, has to cleanse. And just like that, aiming. Just securing
not so
summoner
fun
spells.
playing.
Oh, he's so dead.
He's so...
Wait. Why is he going that way? He's just going in to die. He just got spotted. He's like, oh, I should be fine. Let me do the Raptors. No! You're dead. Okay, well, now we're trying to dive here. Barrel's there. Lucid's there.
It feels like Nongshim is so tunneled on, let's just kill the Gnar again and again.
Yeah.
And again.
The orange buff.
Yeah.
You gotta secure it.
They've only got Gnar once, but yeah, I don't think the Aphelios angle was fantastic here. And
They're still going.
They have to kill Gnar. He's nearly mega. Well, let's kill him even quicker.
Oh wait, Leona's still here. We have to back. Uh-oh.
What's funny is that, like, Lucid's, he's on the map, he's doing stuff. They're like, Beryl, you just handle this, okay? Beryl is fine, he's got this.
Yeah. Aiming's just farming mid.
And farming G with summoners.
Yeah.
See the replay of this one. So, steals the ult, gets the chains. Just a nice setup. Flash comes through too late. And then we'll probably see what happened.
잡았다. 아펠 로플.
Got him. Aphelios Snow Flash.
Crack.
Said crack.
Did he think like Grump had hit the scrying, you know, the
Yeah, I don't
scrying
know.
plant?
Yeah.
Maybe one of the he's like, oh, the Raptors take scrying plants now? That's really neat.
I didn't see that change in the patch notes. League patch change all the time, you know? Could be anything.
Yeah.
Maybe it was Otacon. I heard he's new, you know?
When Atacon spawns, he procs all the scrying plants nearby.
Yeah.
Maybe it was... You know
Maybe
what?
it's a Chemtech Soul feature.
Actually, you know, I just said something so stupid, Brendan.
I'm not surprised.
I said Grump took it, but Grump isn't even on that side of the jungle.
Not even over there.
So it would have to be Raptors, or it would have to be Krugs. So...
Yeah, Raptors are closest.
Excuse me for being silly.
Maybe he thought it was Raptor. from B&K.
Yeah. It was in fact Showmaker. I'm glad we got to the bottom of that. He wanted to find out. He wanted to go look and see. And
Well,
he found out it was Showmaker.
They're just doing Dragon here. It's just an Ocean Drake, but we got TP coming in. And Noshim, this is the right call. Just run away. Uh-oh, Solar Flare. And they've successfully run away.
You know, Lahens, I think Merctrez would be a good buy for you. I think you should invest.
Chains coming down. Bit of damage. Gonna catch Fisher. Fisher just standing his ground. They've got inner track onto the mid lane, and they should be able to take down this turret as well.
Okay, they're actually getting stuff done.
Nicely done.
They do lose a tower on return, but taking a dragon, you know, stalling out the soul stacking from D+. Okay, King's looking for now, but Beryl is bot, and you can't say you didn't expect this because he's been bot for about 10 minutes.
Well, Kingen able to steal it once again, and now Beryl is here, but there's 4 members from Noshim going up against 1 Meganar, and I think, yeah.
That was a very unnecessary flash, is all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And they commit so heavily towards the bot side. Now, Fisher struggling to hold on here. They do trade towers. But Herald's going to get a second charge.
Yep.
But still, Noshim making some practice plays. It's good. They're showing life.
Yeah, their Lee Sin is getting fed. He's still behind Viego, even though he has 2 kills. And yeah, we're just backing in the middle of the lane.
Gio is
totally fine.
He's living life on the edge this game. That's all I can say. Yeah, so we obviously saw what happened the first time round, but I'm pretty sure he was in ult range, and then he was like. What?
It's a misclick, 100%.
It must be a miss.
There's zero reason to flash there.
I mean, I guess he pressed E and then he pressed F, which is next to each other, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're fighting Beryl.
All right, they're gonna get Beryl here. You know, they have finally done that. Now we got the Tark ultimate, maybe some value. No, the Lee Sin just goes down, and Lucid is just going into another player as this is happening. That's another kill onto the Aphelios. No way for him to get away. The chains just go wide from Kingen, and the flash comes on in from the real Gnar to secure this fight win for the side of DK. Even a slow to come in. Another stun as well on the Kingen. And there's just no hope for him. Aiming, diving the Azir turret, but this Viego will not be stopped. And when the Viego just gets to do whatever he wants, I guess he's not Paperman after all. And Fisher gets away for now.
You know what? We were talking... Oh.
For now, I said. Oh, the chains missed.
That was a close one.
I love how the fans were like cheering for the clone dying. They're like, oh no!
They'll take anything they can get.
It's gonna die.
Yeah, so Beryl doing Beryl things, but survives for a long time being
baiting.
Leona. He is baiting. Yeah, and then you know how before I was talking about how some Viego players, they can't play all the champions. Lucid, actually pretty good at Lee Sin, surprisingly enough.
Lee Sin.
So a pretty good option there, and then just the momentum you have from this Viego. Even here, gets like both targets, gets the root in, and then the Lahendra just win.
Yep, this is just gonna happen. Lahen says, Beryl, I could do you one better. I saw you in that last game, but...
He's like, wait, Beryl dies and they win the team fight? It's my...
Oh no.
Man.
Oh, he's got Flash. Can he get out? He's got Gideon nearby. He's actually just fighting Lucid. As Showmaker came on over. He was able to sustain up enough so that Lucid couldn't quite get the execute.
Well, now they are looking at Arakan. They're not doing it, they are looking at it respectfully.
Yes.
And then backing away.
Slowly. Banshee Veil here for Showmaker.
Yeah, so if you thought you were catching Showmaker out before, it's not happening, okay?
Yeah.
He's basically untouchable. I honestly think
it's really just for the Silas.
I honestly think it's the wrong call to buy. I actually think there's no reason to build it when you could just build more damage, but he is really untouchable now.
He's gonna get Majai's next, so.
He could have got Majai's before, though.
He could have. But instead, he's just gonna kill Gideon anyway. Because you know what? League is a 5-man game. It's a 5v5. He's got teammates. He's got aiming there, who's got three items. So, I mean, yeah, they're lethality items, but whatever. Gets in, does the extra damage that Showmaker's missing from having the item. That is not a damage item.
Recall stop from Beryl.
Worth?
He knows they're there.
Sees them, yeah.
Just see them. They're like, oh, we're so sneaky. We have a control with this brush.
They'll never see this coming.
They don't know.
They're like, yeah, okay, well, we're just gonna push bot.
Okay. Well, Dragon just spawned now. But with it being on the opposite side of the map to Arakan, I don't think either team wants to commit too heavily towards it. Ah, yes, it's that time of the game.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the chakrams, right? He's doing a decent amount of damage to the Arakan, but TP are coming in.
He lost the chakrams.
Yeah, he did.
He's green-blue.
Yeah, this is maybe the worst combo.
Guys?
You don't have the damage, but he's going to use his ult onto only Beryl as well. Well, there you go. The Taric ult landed onto Lehens. He was able to get it down. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite matter here as finally they break through the Banshee Veil. Will they be able to kill Showmaker? The answer is always no. As, yeah, started up the Arakan, felt pretty desperate. DK comes up and punishes very quickly.
You know, I think I would have preferred if they just picked Smolder. Just
18 stacks on Majai's already here for Showmaker.
Yeah, he's stacking that quickly. I guess who needs a second damage item? You can just go Banshees, Majai's.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's just never going to lose his Majai's. They have Lucid to do the Arakan and keep it leashed, so they can just dive while they get it.
I think he might have just been able to channel the recall because he had the Bloodthirster shield. I think he should have just kept channeling, but he went to dodge, so... Anyway, yeah, Gideon survives for all of about a couple of seconds, and then doesn't. And then here, you know, Gio has...
In live.
We don't get to see it.
Yeah.
Fights are happening. I mean, D+ are low, but they do have Arakan buff.
Yeah. Might be able to get one of them, but the flash is clean, and Kingan's getting pretty low. They get the one. There is a kill, though, for Siwoo. He does pick that one up. Aiming's got no mana, so he's going to go down as well. So they pick up a decent amount of gold. Do Nongshim.
Showmaker's looking for more Medjai stacks. Specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they got a little bit of gold from that. It's not looking good for Nongshim, you know. That is my professional analysis of this situation.
This whole series has been like, okay, one team gets a lead, and they just absolutely rip the other team to shreds. It has not been...
I mean, I feel like game 3 and 4 have been more one-sided than game 1 and 2. In game 1 and 2, we weren't particularly close.
Well, we were talking about this in game 2. We're like, I think game 2 was more one-sided than game 1. Like, we were having debates about those two games. And then we'd be like, oh, little did we know.
Incomparable. Not even the same tier.
It could be outdone. Oh, man. Well,
loses a
free little
buff. Yeah, okay.
drive by.
It's a tilter.
It's just one of those games.
Next game will be better.
Yeah.
No.
And this is the thing. I mean, we're here. It's playoff round 2. You have a second life. So Nongshim, I mean, there's certainly a lot to learn from the series, I feel like.
Yeah, and D+ are, I think...
Especially in the drafting department.
Yeah, I mean, I felt this way coming out of groups. After seeing this performance, I think it's pretty clear. D+ are our strongest team right now. Nongshim, losing to them. Treat it as a learning experience. You did get a game win, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe you send some crazy play to bring this one back, but it's looking pretty cooked right now.
I don't think they're going to send crazy plays, the coach.
I
actually don't think he's allowed to play.
I think Lehens will do something goofy. I want to see what it is, though. I'm interested. He's kind of slacking, though. At this point, last game, Beryl had 9 deaths. All right? Lehens only has 5?
Only 5!
We're closing in on when Beryl had 10 deaths.
And the top laner also had... What was it? He had like 8.
8, yeah.
I think he stayed on 8.
So, like, you know...
He was not quite the same breed.
Beryl and Siwoo had like 18 deaths between them at 27 minutes. Nongshim have 8
Slacking.
between their top and support.
Slacking.
Really, just... That's the difference.
Lucid has been such a menace on this Viego. Nobody can lock him down. It's crazy. I mean, they just don't really have a lot of CC. It's... Okay, Lucid, don't take what I said like too far out of context. You can't just do whatever you want, as maybe he can. The Taric ultimate comes in. Beryl is tanking up so much. He's still alive, finally. They do get him. The kick is nice on a Lucid, but okay, that's a kill. Over to Siwoo. He picks up one. That's a shutdown.
Yeah, good amount of gold. It's a jungle for jungle, support for support trade. And pretty good from Nongshim. Beryl got like the 3-man stun there with the ult. but Nongshim did finally get the Taracle off. And the thing is, right, I said there's nothing to keep D+ in the fight. Like, they can engage, wait for the Taracle, and disengage. But you know what's working against them? Their gold lead. Because they're so far ahead, they don't do that. They just stay in the fight. They're like, guys, I don't care if they have Taracle.
Yeah.
We're really strong. And that kind of backfired a little bit here. Because, yeah, the Taracle comes down, they kite back a little bit, but then they're still like, you know, we're still here. We're still trying to make things happen. They do burst after it. But unfortunately, Lucid gets a bit too deep. They could have just disengaged and just let Beryl die, but they're like, no, we try to find something more. Give over a couple of shutdowns. We didn't lose the Magi stacks in Showmaker though. He's now got Void staff and he's 24 stacks. He is. I want to see what we can do.
He's pretty Void stacked, if you know what I mean. Gonna land the chains here. Yeah, that's Lahen's really trying to up his quota, and he's gonna deny it. Actually.
That was the last stack for Magi. You know, he had Celestial opposition, so we didn't really get to see like the full extent of what Showmaker's burst is. And maybe Gideon gets
going for number 7. I thought he was just gonna send it.
Yeah, a little bit reluctant.
Yeah.
There's a Gideon right there.
Well,
oh man, he can steal this.
No, they're just gonna totally pull off of it. Entirely pull off it. The stun comes in. Perfect timing for the burst damage. Very nicely coordinated there. As finally Fisher trying to do something. And instead he's just gonna Zhonya's in the face of 3 guys that can burst him down. That's the Baron. And yep, 25 stacks now for the side of Showmaker. He is just doing insane amounts of damage, and you can't get away from him. The chains land perfectly, and Dinar is gigantic as well. DK, they want to send a message on their way out of this one. Kingen was just bot lane, hanging out, and didn't even bother to TP.
I get it. I don't think I would either. Kingen's like, you know what? It's double a limb. Live to fight another day.
Yeah.
D+, pretty decisive game. I think we knew long before the Nexus exposed which direction it was going in. But definitely, unless.
Yeah.
Well, it looked neat.
It's a lot of purple. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I think we had a goofy game 3. Credit to Nongshim. They had a good draft in game 3. Bounced back from a rough series, but overall, this was D+ showing they are definitely still the strongest team in the LCK Cup. You know, Aiming and Lahen's former teammates from that KT roster.
Yeah.
And Aiming and Kingen as well from D+ last year. But yeah, I mean, D+ came in, won a couple of games, goofed about a bit, won a 3rd game, and now they're going through the next stage. And really, the question today was, we haven't seen them for a while. Will they be in the same form? The answer is a firm yes.
It is. It definitely is a firm yes. And now, essentially, they're just waiting for the winner of the next match, which is Gen G and Hama Life Esports tomorrow. So make sure you guys aren't missing that one. Will be DK up against the winner of that match, and Nongshim up against the loser. As Showmaker says, yeah, baby. That's right. That's the energy. That's the vibe I got from that one. L for Lucid says thank you very much. Very polite. Lahen's as well always does this. Bows to all the fans, even in his losses.
I find it so funny that we had that previous game where they just you and Beryl just an absurd amount of deaths. Doesn't matter.
They're just having a fun.
Just vibes, and you could see in that game they were having a pretty good time. You know, I think. This is when D+ look their best. This is when Showmaker is looking great, is when the vibes are good. And the vibes are impeccable right now for this team.
Yeah.
And hopefully it stays that way. Because I think regardless of whether you're a D+ fan or not, regardless of whether you want them to lose and another team to win, that's what I think everyone enjoys seeing a team like this having a good time. Seeing Showmaker playing well and having a good time. It's just a pleasure. It's a treat to watch. I
do wonder what their 2 possible opponents take away from the series. I feel like they didn't expose much at the same time. A lot of discussion still going on here even after they're winning Game 4, which was an Omega Stomp. Unless they're still talking about Game 3, which I kind of doubt.
Maybe Showmaker and Aiming are comparing damage, and Aiming's like, look, it's not fair. He has the buffed Electrocute, you know? Look how much damage Electrocute did. That's not okay.
Yeah. I can't go Electrocute on Poke Varus. It's not fair.
Plus, I can't build Medjai as an AD champion. They removed that years ago. He would buy it if you could.
He would.
100%.
Man, there were just so many fights where it just felt like Nongshim's comp could not do anything.
Yeah, I think we'll see this more and more, where towards the end of Fearless, some teams just don't have the tools. It's just not there. They clearly wanted the hands on someone with Snap Engage. We've seen them before, even in series they won on things like the Braum, not able to do what he wants for the team. And I think the mistake was not securing him a pick in the first 3 picks before the second round of bans. If he'd been able to get his hands on like the Rel, I think the Rel would have been huge.
Yeah.
Could have been a game changer. Not saying they would have won if they got the Rel, but I think we would have seen a lot more potential and a lot more life in the comp. I also think the Aphelios is really just not great here.
Yeah.
I think really, like, you know, the Azir I wasn't sold on, but it was the bot lane pickup I think really cemented this as a kind of rough to play draft. And then D+, even when the drafts had been more even at the start of the series, they still looked a lot cleaner. But yeah, as long as they don't outplay themselves by picking, like flexing Camille bot and putting Aatrox in the cannon. But to be fair, I think as much as like it was a kind of a happy game, the previous one from D+, I think it kind of discredits because you know Nongshim came up with a good comp and executed well. There was some great plays in that one from Fisher as well. But for sure, D+ a lot stronger on the day.
I don't know exactly what Showmaker said, but the whole crowd laughed, so just being Showmaker. It's like he's at home, he's streaming, just with all of his buddies at the same time. Having a great time.
Oh, aiming did more damage without electrocute. Okay, Showmaker's stuck.
And without Majais.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he was showing them on the computer. It's like, look how much damage I did.
Maybe it's because everybody on the enemy team was really squishy, so Showmaker would just kill them so fast.
They ran out of health.
They ran out of health, and so he couldn't, you know, up those damage numbers. Whereas aiming the whole time is just like hitting Tarek over and over and over again.
I'm certain that having this discussion right now in the booth.
Absolutely. Well, Showmaker did die once in this 4-game best-of-5.
Ironic, his only death was on Zillion.
That's true.
It's because
he was so generously giving his ult to other people.
Yes. Like the 0-8 Aatrox.
Yeah, exactly.
He needed it. I think the 0-8 Aatrox needed it more than he did.
I think the numbers don't lie. They tell you the truth.
If you factor in the Zillion deaths, he died a lot more than 8 times.
He definitely did.
Maybe even more than Beryl.
Maybe we should factor them in, actually, just to give them a high score.
Yeah. DK
never change, you know. This is just them. They had their fun. I think maybe they'll be challenged later on up against either Genji or Hamalive Esports. Maybe, but they just look like they're really having a great time still. They won best of 3s like this in group stage. Not necessarily with like these drafts, but in a very fun manner, having fun, flexing weird picks, stuff like that. So they just look unstoppable. Yeah, I really think we're going to have to see not just teams, you know, play their best, but step up as well. Like HLE look a lot better against T1. I think the level of them still isn't enough to challenge D+ in the current form. So we'll obviously see HLE versus Genji and looking at those teams to see which can really step up to the plate and challenge D+ right now. Yeah, also our predictions for Genji versus HLE are all over the place. Oh, that's going to be really fun. Guys, either way, we do have the interview ready to go. I'm going to hand it over to, I believe, Ji-sun today for the translation.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Ji-sun for the appeal and interview translation, joined by Showmaker, who had a phenomenal performance today. D+ Kia is still undefeated here in the LCK Cup, starting from the group battle. How are you feeling right now? I mean, over the course of the few years, I have never been on top of the standings like this. So it feels amazing. I hope we can win the upcoming winners bracket match as well and make it to the finals. Game number 2 was very, very interesting with your Pantheon mid. So far, D+ Kia only used Pantheon as a jungle pick and a support pick, but today it was yours. Showmaker, so far in your entire career, you were not able to get a win on that Pantheon pick. So what kind of strategy was behind? We were going over some of the options for the AD champions on the mid lane, and then recently I saw Donbi going for Pantheon mid with a Strikebreaker and a tier build for the tank items, so I thought it was really good. Speaking of Fimble Winter, what made you think that it's a good item for Pantheon? I just copied whatever Doinbi built. I didn't really do the calculation because Doinbi, he's a true pioneer, so I just followed this way. Unfortunately, Game 3 was actually a big loss for D plus Kia. What kind of feedback went back and forth after that game? Well, I told my teammates that I'm going to play Zillion and it didn't go well, so I realized that I'm not going to play that again. And we just wanted to pick ourselves up together for Game 4. And then in that Game 4, LeBlanc was popping up, carrying the entire game by herself. Even building Mejai's and getting all the stacks early. Of course, LeBlanc is one of my confident picks. As we head to the later phase of the Fearless draft, and then it was the second phase of the pick and ban, I thought it was a perfect spot for LeBlanc to hit every spot that was needed. And just like you mentioned, with this win, you are now on the winner's bracket. You will be playing up against either Genji or Hana Life Esports. What are you expecting about the matchup? Both teams look so scary, honestly. So we will just do our best, no matter what. And anything you would like to say to the fans before we close out the interview? We will make sure to display our best performance in that upcoming match and make it to the finals. Thank you so much. And that will be the end of the POM interview with Showmaker. And back to the space. Thank you.